Bugün sizinle Julien Henry'nin, 25 yaşındaki Julien Henry'nin Fransa'dan neredeyse Çin'e, Kırgızistan'ın Çin'e yakın olan kısımlarına kadar uzanan, ülkemizden de geçen bisiklet macerası ile ilgili bir söyleşisini yayınlayacağız. Julien, Aix-en-Provence'dan, Fransa'nın güneyinden yola çıkıp böyle işte önce İtalya, daha sonra Arnavutluk ve Yunanistan'da böyle dolambaçlı ve bayağı bir dağ tırmanması da içeren bisiklet parkurunun sonunda İstanbul'a ulaştı. Ve İstanbul'da yaklaşık bir hafta 10 gün bizim misafirimiz oldu. Burada hem yolculuğun geri kalan kısmı için bir dinlenme etabı gerçekleştiriyor, hem şehrimizin tadını çıkarıyor, hem de bu arada yolculuğunun geri kalan kısmında gereken bir takım eksik ekipmanlarını tedarik etmeye çalışıyor. Julien önce Fransa'dan İtalya'ya, İtalya'dan feribotla Arnavutluk'tan Yunanistan'a, Yunanistan'dan da ülkemize geldi. Daha İstanbul'dan sonra İstanbul, Eskişehir, Kayseri, Kars ve daha sonra oradan kuzeye Gürcistan, Gürcistan'dan Rusya'ya, Rusya'dan Kazakistan'a, bütün Hazar Denizi kıyısı boyunca, Kazakistan'dan Özbekistan'a ve Özbekistan'dan da Kırgızistan'a, Bişkek'e kadar pedal çevirmeyi planlıyor. Çok ilginç bir yolculuk olacağını tahmin ediyoruz. Hem ülkemizdeki hem diğer kısımlardaki gezinin. Hepinize iyi seyirler. Bonjour Julien, welcome to Istanbul, and it's a great pleasure to host you here in Istanbul for a few days during your amazing cycling trip between France and Kyrgyzstan, Bishkek, all the way to, well, 10 kilometers short of the Chinese border, I guess. Not 10, sorry, about 1,000 kilometers short of Bishkek, yeah. So Julien is from Aix-en-Provence, from southern France near Marseille, and studied engineering and physics at Saint-Étienne, and is about to start a PhD soon. So he decided to do a long cycling trip before starting his studies between his hometown, Aix-en-Provence, and Kyrgyzstan all the way. So we will discuss about this amazing journey today. But let me first ask you, how did you start cycling in the first place? Well, I know that in France cycling is a big thing, Tour de France and everything. So at what age did you start, and at what age did you start to cycle rather long distances and all that?
So, like a lot of people, I learned how to cycle when I was young. I can still remember the lessons I took. I mean, it was my dad who taught me. Mm-hmm. Actually, I started cycling when I studied abroad for 4 months. Mm-hmm. I was in Canada. Canada. So I was in a small town, Moncton, in New Brunswick. But, well, a small town in Canada means you still have 40 minutes to walk from the campus to the city center.
So, I guess not during the winter though, right?
Yeah, from September to December, so the winter had not really started yet. Yeah. I mean, there was snow by December, but not that much. Mm-hmm. So I was there, and so I bought a bike for like dirt cheap, like $50 there, and I started commuting with my bicycle. And one day I just filled my backpack with camping equipment, got on my bike and cycled for 1 weekend. Mm-hmm. It was horrible. I had no preparation. I walked half the way, half of the time. But this is how I started. Okay. Then I got back in France and I started an internship in Avignon for 6 months. And this is where I really started cycling, road cycling. Mm-hmm.
It's not so long ago, actually, right?
We're talking 1 year ago. We're talking 1 year ago, yes. A little bit more. So I started in March 2023. Wow. I bought a road bike for like 100 euros. It was a second or third hand bike, and I got 50 euros from the township.
Yeah.
From the township of
municipality or something.
From the municipality, because they give you they pay half of the price of a bicycle, up to €50, in this city.
All right.
Because they want
Very
to
good.
encourage cycling.
Very good.
So this is what got me into cycling. And like near Avignon, there's this very famous climb, which is the Mont Ventoux.
Mont Ventoux is famous climb for Tour de France. No, it's what 22 kilometers climb. Or
it's
something?
A 21k climb, and you go up 1,800 meters.
Okay. Wow.
Really rough. And I wanted to do this climb before it opened to cars, because it's closed. There's a road that's closed during winter because of like conditions. So I wanted to do that on the last weekend before it opened for cars.
Yes.
I just cycled every weekend at least for 3 months, and then I did the Mont Ventoux. And this is where it started. Like I started just cycling every week, at least once or twice.
That's a very it's a very impressive curve of progress, I should say. It's Mont Ventoux is very famous. It's almost like the symbolic name for cycling climbs. I mean, there are like more challenging climbs, sure, but Mont Ventoux is epic as far as the French Tour de France is concerned, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very famous. So this is where I started. Then I started planning a 1-week trip in the Alps during summer. So this is la Route des Grandes Alpes. This is the first cycling trip I did. I was not camping though. I only had clothes and stuff to wash myself. I stayed in hostels or
along the Alpine route.
Like from the Swiss border, in the Le Mans. From the Le Mans
near Le Mans, from Le Mans to Nice.
Yeah, in 1 week.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that was really my first cycling trip. And then I moved back in Saint-Etienne in September, and I did 2 or 3 trips, but like shorter ones, where I was this time carrying my tent and camping.
Camping, mostly on mountains or
no, it was. I did. From Saint-Etienne, I went to Paris, for instance, and from Saint-Etienne, I went to Aix-en-Provence, back where I lived. So this is the 2 small trips I did with my tent and in autonomous,
autonomously, maybe.
And then, I started this trip.
So one question I was going to ask: how are drivers behaving, with the cyclists in France? I'm asking this question because I myself am an amateur cyclist, and whenever you ask a Turkish cyclist, either a race cyclist or an amateur cyclist, or a mountain bike guy, they often complain about the guys in Turkey, like the drivers are not really very polite with the cyclists.
Well, I don't know, because how are they in France? Well, it really depends because of where you cycle. I'd say
south better, north better.
No, not about that, but rather about mountains or not mountains.
Okay, right.
Like if you're in a place that's popular with cyclists, you'll get most of the time friendly people, but sometimes there will be very, very unfriendly people. It's like all or nothing. I feel in France, it's either they're understandable, like they're just normal with you, or as soon as you are on a bike, you are not a human being anymore.
Oh right, okay.
It's it's 1 in 100, I'd say, but it's like
they exist.
They exist.
Yeah.
And France is maybe not the best country, like cycling wise, for like friendliness wise towards cyclists. I'd say Italy. For now, in the countries I've been, Italy is perfect for cyclists.
Well, Italy has a very long cycling tradition, and they also are. I think they came up with many technical inventions about cycles, bicycles, and this is okay, great. So anyway, coming now to your trip, of which you finished the first European leg, I should say. So you started in Aix-en-Provence, just near Marseille, and then you cycled
Okay, so where did I start and then how did I end up in Istanbul?
Basically, just a quick summary of that.
Okay, so I started in Aix-en-Provence, as you said. I cycled in the Piedmont of the Alps and I joined the coastline in Cannes.
So Cannes,
before Nice. Then I followed the coastline.
French Riviera towards Italy.
Yeah, French Riviera. Riviera, all the coast to Pisa.
Okay, so Cinque Terre, and Tuscany coast, basically.
No.
Ligurian
coast.
Yes.
La Spezia.
La Spezia, and
then Pisa. Mm-hmm. In Pisa, I went into the land in Tuscany. Mm-hmm. So I've been to Siena, Le Val d'Orcia, and then Rome. Mm-hmm. From Rome, I joined the coast to go to Naples, and from Naples, then I went east towards Bari. And in Bari, I took a boat to Albania, and then Albania
to which city? Durrës. Okay, to Albania.
Yeah,
Albania, quite hilly landscape, I guess, right?
Yeah, it was amazing.
So how did you cope with the hills in Albania?
Same as the hills in Italy.
All right.
Same as the hills in France. I mean, the road is the same. You just cycle.
So when you cycle, what are the situations when you end up climbing, either steep climbing or less steep climbing, but climbing?
Yeah.
What is the longest duration that you end up climbing? I mean,
what's the biggest climb I've done?
Yeah, longest climb.
Longest, I'd say it was in Albania for sure.
Yeah.
This was this monstrous pass that's right on the coast. One of the most beautiful coastline I've ever seen. Yeah. So it's south. I think it's called Kaiser's Pass. So I think it's what it's called.
Yeah. So we will back up with the maps. So
Kaiser's Pass, and it's just I think it's 1,100 meters up, but it's just so steep. Yeah. Like Albanians do not know how to build roads below 10 persons.
Okay.
Every road, if you're going up, you are really going up.
Okay.
So it's one of the hardest climbs I've done, actually.
Yeah. How many days? How many days of climbing?
No. It's still just done in an afternoon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
done in an afternoon. Yeah.
I mean, it's there's no climbs that takes days on my route.
On your road.
Maybe in Central Asia, when I will have to go up 3,000 meters.
Yeah.
I think I will take 1 or 2 days to do that. Yeah. But then for now, only one afternoon. I think I spent 2 or 3 hours in the climb.
Okay.
But it was.
But with all this weight, I mean, so you always cycle. You never disembark from your bicycle and push it. Always cycle. There's a big, cyclist principle. Always cycle, never disembark from. And here we are talking about a bike that's loaded. So let's come to your equipment. So what do you have on the bike?
What do I have on the bike? I've got, let's just say the bare minimum regarding clothes. Mm-hmm. I'm wearing about half of the clothes I own currently, and I just bought them in Istanbul because I needed some. So I'm carrying my tent, my camping gear, a sleeping bag, mattress. I'm carrying at all times only about 1 liter of water, but I've got enough bottles to carry about 6 or 8 liters in case. I haven't had any use for that yet. But
you're still in the, let's say the light part of the business.
I've done the easy part, so just in case. And I'm carrying
some food, of course.
Yes, I've got 2 days worth of food at all time, 2 or 3 depending. And that's about it. I carried a camera before, but I actually lost it.
Oh,
on the first week, I just...
That's a pity.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Just after buying a new lens. I bought a new lens and lost
the you lens. Still have the lens?
No, I don't have that. I've got the old lens that's broken.
Oh, right.
I mean, I don't have it now because I had the lens for a full week. Yeah. So, do I carry anything else? I carry books, 1 or 2 books at all time, and a journal just to
Yeah, to write your trip. And how about clothes? Like, you know, you have the like underwear and things like that.
Oh yeah, I've got like, because I'm wearing a cycling bib, I don't have underwears when I cycle. So I've got two underwears, two pants, one cycling bib, and about 3 shirts.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. So, all right. So from this southern Albania, relatively high topography, then you were cycling, I guess, towards east, towards Greek border, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Greece was very like, it's like mainland Greece. I've been told mainland Greece is not interesting. Like everything is in the islands.
No, it is interesting.
But mainland Greece, like the northern part, it was so empty.
Yeah.
I did not expect that, because Albania, despite being not very populated, it's got those big mountains, but those big mountains are, between those mountains there are those huge valleys that are very accessible. So you've got people everywhere in Albania. It's not densely populated, but there's always a village.
Yeah.
In northern Greece, well, let's just say I think I've seen more signs for archaeological sites than signs for villages in this part. So because
it's just like that also in the rest of Greece. I mean, if you leave Athens or you are in the Peloponnesus Peninsula anywhere, you may feel like you're in the middle of nowhere at places. So very beautiful, and even along coastlines, they have, because of the intricate geometry of the coastlines. So Greece is amazing. Yes. But less difficult. At least that part of Greece should be slightly less difficult in terms of climbs, I guess, right? So
I mean, mainly because I avoided them.
You avoided them.
I mean, there's not that many roads anyway that can take me from Albania to Turkey.
Yeah.
So there were, but the main road, there was like this huge road. There was literally nobody on it for 200 kilometers. Yeah. So I cycled for 2 days, and I didn't have any big climbs to do, because most of the time big roads but it was just so amazing to have those, like this huge road just for yourself. It's really amazing.
And from northern Greece, I guess, did you pass? So you did pass through Thessaloniki, I guess, right? So there are beautiful places near there in all this Halkidiki coast, and this is the place pretty close to Turkey actually. And you entered the let's say European part of Turkey, right? Trakya, and. But you did not cycle along the coast most of the time, I think, until Şarköy or whatever, right? So it's
until what?
Şarköy. Did you pass?
Şarköy? Okay, yeah. I did not pass to Şarköy. It's like west of Tekirdağ.
Yeah.
No. So when I reached the Turkish border, I had 2 choices. Either I spent like quite some time planning a route to avoid the highway, or I just made a beeline to Istanbul and then think about it later. I went for the latter because I saw that the weather was going to get worse. So I wanted to avoid the rain, avoid everything, and just get Trakya done fast. Because it's not the most beautiful part of Turkey, even if the Marmara coastline is beautiful. And also I wanted to do big mileages. Big mileage for a few days, because I had spent a lot of time doing small days in Greece, because I met a guy that was slower than me. So it was awesome, but I did 40 to 50 kilometers days, and I usually do about 100.
All right, so normal topography you do about 100.
So I wanted to do big days, so I just went on the highway, straight line to Istanbul.
By the way, did you? I mean, so you arrived Istanbul after about 53. You said it took you about 53 days to arrive in Istanbul. And you sometimes camped and sometimes stayed in youth hostels, sometimes stayed in other places. And all right, so you're now in Istanbul for a few days, enjoying the city, taking some rest, right?
Yeah.
So and enjoying the city. But really, although the part that's up to here is interesting, the next part of your voyage is, let's say, more exotic and let's say less
action.
Yes, let's talk a little bit about what awaits you after Istanbul. So I know that you are planning a route that is kind of a west-east transect in the northern part of central Anatolia, and maybe going all the way to eastern Turkey, all the way to Van, perhaps, right? So Kars, and then veering to the northeast and entering Georgia.
Yeah,
right.
That's exactly that. So yeah, I was planning on staying close to the Black Sea, but I just learned doing research, of course, that the entire Black Sea coast was just a highway.
Yeah, and you avoid highways as much as possible, right?
Yeah, well, I want to avoid highways as much as possible in the future. Like I did 3 days on the highway to get to Istanbul.
Yes.
Never again. That's like, it's easy to do, but not really for safe reasons, because in Turkey you've got huge shoulders on the highway, so it's rather safe. But it's just straining physically, not physically, but mentally. So straining to have just those huge straight lines, and it's just the same, no changes. So
maybe enjoying the landscape. So from Istanbul, I guess you're then cycling towards Eskişehir.
Eskişehir, yes.
And from Eskişehir to Kayseri, and you can see the nice museum there and some Seljuk architecture in various parts of the city, and the volcanoes around.
Yeah, of course.
Around
one of the big things on my bucket list.
It's I was on top of one of those volcanoes during the last summer doing some field work. Yeah, even during the summer, the weather can get pretty funny there.
Pretty rough. So, it's still the mountains.
Yeah, so it's mountains, so it's a mountain climate. So after Kayseri, you will cycle towards Erzincan,
Vas.
Erzurum and Kars. In Kars, you are very close to Armenian border and very close to Ani ruins. But as we discussed yesterday, in cycling, I think it's making like, okay, let me see this place as well means another day of cycling at least, or sometimes two. It's
like, okay, choosing whether or not to do a detour to see interesting things is something I struggle a bit with, because I feel like if you start making a detour to see every interesting thing, then the travel is not about the travel. Actually, It's about going to those places that you wanted to see, and so I try to avoid.
I perfectly understand. Otherwise we are back to France in 35 years time or something like that. So
and really, it's if you. I feel like if traveling for me on bicycle, it's about just picking a few dots.
All right, so you are traveling from let's say then Eskişehir to Kayseri and all the way to Kars.
Yeah.
And as I said, as we discussed, maybe visiting all the places. But Ani ruins, as I repeat, are interesting. So you can make it. They're amazing Armenian ruins right on the Armenian border. So it's very interesting archaeologically. Also, the natural setting is beautiful. And also the route between Kars city center and Ani is grassland, reminiscent of some more humid parts of Mongolia even, right? So it's amazing. But anyway, then into Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia. I've got no idea what I'm gonna do there, because I will be spending a whole month in Turkey. I plan to 1 month to go to Kars. So I mean, I will have time to figure what I do in Georgia. So,
well, there are a lot of interesting cities and the mountains, you know. All right, so after Kars, I think you will veer towards northeast and enter Georgia. And so I think you will not be in the coastal part of Georgia so much, but more like and maybe a detour into Armenia, right? So So passing after Georgia, you are planning to enter Russia, which I found quite surprising, because nowadays with everything going on between Russia and Ukraine and everything, I was thinking that it would be almost impossible to get a Russian visa. Yeah, but apparently not so, right? So
the regular route for going east, like the regular cycling route, is going through Azerbaijan, and taking a ferry from Baku to Atyrau, or taking a ferry to Kazakhstan. But now that Azerbaijan's borders are closed, I take a plane to Baku, because it's the land borders that are closed, not the national borders. So I could take a plane to Baku or I could go around the Caspian Sea.
Western coast of Caspian Sea, yes. Northwest.
North. So, but of course the issue is that I need to go through Russia. But apparently, getting an e-visa is quite simple, and you've got the only indication, the only warning that I could find on the French government website about getting an e-visa was, be careful, just get it before 4 days.
4 days before.
Get it. Make the demand at least 4 days before.
Yes.
So that shouldn't be a problem. But I was quite surprised, but apparently they still give e-visas, so that's should be fine.
That's great, and I think you'll spend, on average, how many days? How long is the parkour in Russia?
Russia, it's about 700 km.
So it's not that long. So it should be coverable in a little bit more than a week if you don't spend too much.
I mean, the goal is really to rush through Russia, because it's not really an interesting part. It's going to be big roads and flat terrain, and most importantly, because of the restrictions, European credit cards and visas and visa cards do not work in Russia. So we'll have to. I will be on a limit, on a cash limit that I can bring. So that's going to be I think I'll spend at most a week. I will just run through, do 150 k's per day. 5 days it's done, and then
and two things about the practicalities about cycling. And one thing is that what do you reckon that how many days consequent, one after another days that you would probably have to cycle while having to sleep in under a tent rather than an accommodation?
What,
like for example, you may have to spend 3 nights in consequence. That can happen, right?
Yeah, of course. Right now, the most I did must be 5 nights, I say. But it's mostly because it's comfortable to
it's okay.
Get a hostel, because the issue of getting showers or stuff like that. But now that it's getting hotter and hotter, taking the cold shower is not an issue. You just need a water source and then you can shower.
You can shower, yes.
And the sleeping outside is not an issue. And now that I'm gonna be going through Anatolia, and in some pretty wild paths, I will be able to camp anywhere. So now I think I will maybe get a hostel in Kayseri. But that's about it, I think.
Most of the time camping.
In Eskişehir. In Eskişehir, there's a cycling house, so I will be sleeping there for free. But despite that.
I see. Right. Okay. So you have your equipment to cook the things and camping and weather. I guess somewhere in these mountainous part of the passage between Georgia and Russia, there may be places where it may be a bit cold, but apart from that, from the point of view of weather, I think it will be a smooth run. And then, all right, okay, so you passed Russia, and then you crossed the border into Kazakhstan. And what's your first destination in Kazakhstan? So you follow the Caspian route?
Yeah, for the Caspian route, and I head for the Uzbek border.
Okay, yeah.
So that's about it. That makes a detour, pretty big one actually. That's about 1,500 kilometers
of Kazakhstan.
Yeah,
all right.
Maybe a bit less, but about 1,000 kilometers of Kazakhstan, and then I will have to do the entirety of Uzbekistan from west to east.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be
probably see camels.
Yeah,
I mean wild camels.
Yeah, wild camels. And yeah, Uzbekistan is something I look forward to. That's gonna be Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, because that's gonna be really a challenging part. Not physically, I think, because it's quite flat, but mentally, just one road, one big stretch of road that can just no turns for 2, 3, 4 hours.
Yeah, quite remote places as well.
Yeah, I mean, in some places, in some places, I mean, actually, the Kazakh part before going into Uzbekistan will be the most remote. I think the most I will have to do is about 100 kilometers between two villages.
Okay.
So that's, but it's still a day's ride, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I will never be more than a day's ride from
a human habitation.
Yeah. And there's a lot of passage on the highway. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, provided that there's a route, there must be something, and and interesting cuisine, I guess. And then after Uzbekistan, you will cross into Kyrgyzstan, which is a stunning natural beauty, as far as I know. I haven't been in any of these countries, but I'd like to at some stage. But but Kyrgyzstan is wild. I guess.
That's like maybe. Okay, so once I reach the eastern part of Uzbekistan, I'm in the mountains. So now, depending on the time I've got, like if I took too long, and it's like already early August or mid-August. It's mid-August, then I need to come back. So I'm just gonna go and head straight for Bishkek, and then take a plane back, or take something with train, I don't know, and then head back. Or like if I get there early August, mid-July would be perfect. And it is possible. So if I get there by mid-July, then it's gonna be, I'm gonna spend a lot of time, maybe go to Tajikistan. There's a really famous highway for cycling, not for cycling, but it's really famous highway, it's the Pamir highway. And it's like well known for cyclotours.
Okay.
For bikepackers. It's the second highest highway in the world. International highway.
Okay.
And the first one is actually on the, like, I don't know, like, it joins the highest one in China. I'm not planning to go to China, so that's something.
That's something, yeah.
So that's gonna be like, if I manage to get to the mount, like to the height, like the Himalayas by mid-July, I'm gonna do the Pamir Highway, because that's that's gonna be a highlight.
Yeah. Well, I guess you can, because as you say, I mean, the Russian part of the parkour, and also relatively the Kazakh part is not that bumpy, and they're not. I mean, apart from the natural beauty, there are not so many places around for you to detour.
Even for natural beauty, you don't have any road.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
One road, and there's nothing else. So you really don't have anything to like not. I mean, for instance, in Turkey, Italy, Greece, you've got plenty of stuff everywhere.
Everywhere, yes.
I'm gonna be the next thing that I can do is 100 kilometers in that direction.
Yes, so exactly. Yeah. And after Bishkek, actually, you can take a train to Moscow and St. Petersburg, and then disembark from the train and cross the Russian-Finnish border and cycle back to France. That would be a very nice kind of a look.
That would be the dream. The dream would be to get to Bishkek early enough to cycle back to Europe from Moscow or St. Petersburg.
Or St. Petersburg and then Finland. Yeah,
that would be the dream.
I mean, the August. The August in Finland is still no fairy tale. It can be a bit chilly, but not uncyclable.
Yeah, like really.
No, not uncyclable. So it should be all right. So that's really fascinating. This is so. Well, I guess you're equipping yourself with some last-minute details about technical stuff that you want to take with you during the rest of your journey and procuring these things in Istanbul. And well, we wish you a very nice journey, and we will share your Instagram page with our viewers, so people hopefully will follow you and post a lot of photographs. And don't forget us and send us, photographs and stuff. And hope to see you soon after you finish.
Yeah, well,
right?
definitely.
Yeah,
see us charming in France.
Great. All right. Okay. Bon voyage.
Thank you.
Okay.
Cut.